Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. Welcome to today's video. Today I'll be showing you how to start the engines and get the whole aircraft up and running for the Boeing 707, which is the famous flyer which has released recently. It's from Aeroplane Heaven. I have made a separate video on the first look of the aircraft where I show you the cabin and all the textures in detail and up close. So if you have not watched it, if you want to know more about you know the uh, the aircraft model, how it is visually, you can go and check out that video. But for now, we'll proceed with the engine start tutorial. First of all, we need to turn on the battery. It will be good if you could assign specific custom views for each of the panels. For example, for starting the battery we have to go to the engineers panel, and for that I have assigned alt plus 3 as my custom view so that it is easier to move around the cockpit. Yeah, so let's go ahead and start with the engine start process. So first of all we'll be turning on the battery. The battery switch is located over here, so you can go ahead and start it. Then we'll turn on the APU. APU is located over here, so it is like any Boeing aircraft. First you move it to the start position and then to on, and then you have to wait and monitor this RPM. It should be above 90% over here, and once it reaches above 90%, we'll turn on the generator and APU bleed. Now as you can see, the APU is about 90%, so we can turn on the generator and APU bleed valve, and you can turn the essential power knob to external slash APU power, and AC paralleling you can turn on to APU generator over here. Then moving on, we will be turning on the fuel booster pumps, which are the switches over here on the engineering panel. And if you have fuel in the center tank, you can turn on, this is for the center tank, so if you have fuel in the center tank you can turn on these pumps as well. After that, make sure that the engine bleed switches are in their off position. They are over here. We will turn on the engine bleed obviously after starting the engine, and then we can go ahead and start the air conditioning unit, which has the switch over here. Following this, you need to turn on the AC hydraulic switches, which are located over here. So just turn on both of those to on position. From here we will move to the overhead panel. Here you make sure that the emergency flap is in off position, which it is already. Following that, turn on the flight recorder, which has the switch over here. Then after that we will test the speed warnings. So first, uh, here, mark trim disengaged, so just test it and then it should move to normal. And this is the speed warning test, so just press it and hold and you will be able to hear the. And after this, just make sure the anti-skid uh, switch is in on position. It is already in on position, so just make sure the guards are closed here. You won't need to do anything over here, it's just there in the checklist for you know uh, knowledge purposes, I guess, because you don't need to do anything over here for that. Then after that, turn on the navigation lights, also the emergency exit lights, so it should be in the armed position, and then close the guard. So after that, make sure that you have the refueling and all done, and you can go ahead and turn on the no smoking and seatbelt signs, which are located over here. And following this, go to the INS inertial navigation system switch selector over here and set it to align position. After that, turn on the yaw damper switch. Set the window heat switches over here to low. So after that, you need to check the radios, and I found a glitch over here in the checklist because it says it tells us to make sure that the radios are on, but sometimes what happens is the radios do not come on by themselves and we don't know where the avionics master switch is located. So for that you can assign a switch, for example tab, to turn on the avionics, turn on or off the avionics, so that you can do. And after that just press that switch or the keyboard assign key, and the avionics should come on, and just make sure that the frequencies are set as you want them to. So these are the COM frequencies and these are the nav frequencies. So nav1, nav2, COM1 and COM2. Following this, make sure that transponder which is located over here. So this is the transponder switch. It should be in the standby position, and as you can see the startup setup in progress, it shows over here. So it should be in standby position. So that is pretty much it with the initial preparation. Now we can go ahead and start the engines. So for that what you need to do is before that what you need to do is go to the engineers panel and turn on the galley power, then to the overhead panel and move the INS switch to nav position. Make sure the doors are closed. For that you can just check externally, the doors should all be closed, which is looking good. Then as we are going to start the engines, turn on the beacon light and go to the engineers panel and turn off the air conditioning or the packs, and make sure that the duct pressure is minimum above 20 psi. So now you are ready to so once that is done, now you are ready to go ahead and start the engines. There are 4 engines of course. So go to the overhead panel. This is the engine start control switches. So there is a sequence which the manual says we need to use to start the engine. Not need to use, but if you want to do it realistically, you can follow this. Otherwise you can start the engines in any order you want. So according to manual, first we need to start the third engine. So what you do is open the card, move the switch to ground start, then move the fuel mixture lever to start position, then again go to overhead panel and monitor the switch. It should go to off position after the engine has powered up. So we'll just wait for it to go to the off position. As you can see, yeah, now it went to the off position, and we can close the guard, move the fuel mixture or selector level to idle, and go to the engineers panel and turn on the engine breathe for engine number 3. So that is one engine number 3 started, and for the rest of the engines you need to repeat the same procedure. So we'll start the engine number 2, same procedure, move the switch to ground start, go to the pedestal, move this fuel mixture lever to start position, go to the overhead panel and wait for the switch to move to the off position. So it has moved to the off position. Close the guard, go to the pedestal and move the fuel mixture lever to idle. Following that, go to the engineers panel and turn on the bleed air for engine number 2. So here you can see it's clearly written engine 1 2 bleed air, engine 3 4 bleed air. So yeah, for all the engines you need to do the same, and I'll see you on the other side once you start the engines. All four engines have started. What you need to do is go to engineers panel, select the essential power over here to either of the three generators, and move this selector to bus tie position. And following that, just these are the engine compressor switches, so start all three of them. And once the lights go out, you can turn on the air conditioning again. And finally, since the engines are running, you can go ahead and turn off the APU generator, APU bleed, and APU master. You can turn all of them off, and yeah, you are pretty much good to go with this. uh, Rest will be, getting the taxi clearance and then taking off. The engine start process is complete, and for the autopilot I'll be making another tutorial. It's not that complicated, but yeah, this video will be too long otherwise. Hope you found it useful so far, and do let me know if you have any suggestions in the comment section. Thank you for watching, and happy flying.